Oh boy.
My name is Dr. Ben Song. You're from the year 2022. You were the lead physicist on a top secret project called Quantum Leap. You're a time traveler.
Obviously, I time travel into other people, so beam me up.
It's not that simple. You leap into people to help them or someone around them, changing history for the better. No matter what happens, Ben, look out! I am going to be with you every step of the way until we get you home.
Hi, I'm Phil. Welcome to my channel where I like to talk about all sorts of geeky pop culture like Doctor Who, Star Trek, the MCU, and today, Quantum Leap, because the brand new Quantum Leap series has started. I've waited a long time for this. I was a big fan of Quantum Leap when I was a kid in the 90s. I kind of got into it. I must have been, I don't know how young, quite young I think. I think I was maybe like 6 or 7 to about the age of 10 when it was on. And my mum watched it first, and through her I got into it, and it was kind of something we watched together for a few years, and that was really nice. So the original series is something that is part of my childhood, and I really loved the series, loved the two main leads, Scott Bakula and Dean Stockwell, as Sam and Al respectively. They were great in it, and I have a lot of fond nostalgic memories for the original. So the question is, does this new iteration live up to it? I had a few fears going into it, mainly that it was going to be a complete reboot, that the events of the original Quantum Leap wouldn't have happened, that the continuity would not be continuing. That is not the case, thankfully. They straight away had some text on screen in the voiceover saying that, so many years ago, Sam Beckett stepped into the Quantum Leap accelerator and vanished. And then, the setup is that experiment happened all those years ago, 20 or 30 years ago, whatever it was. And now they are going forward and trying to work out how to do leaping safely. And that's the sort of setup for this. I was a little bit disappointed that there was, we got a little bit of voiceover saying Sam stepped into the Quantum Leap accelerator and vanished. But one thing I used to love about the old series was the narration that started every episode. And I had that memorized by heart. I sometimes these days I need a little bit of a prompt to start going, but once I'm on it, I've still got it. Shall I try? Theorising that one can time travel within his own lifetime, Dr. Sam Beckett stepped into the Quantum Leap accelerator and vanished. He awoke to find himself trapped in the past, facing mirror images that were not his own. His only guide on this journey, and driven by an unknown force, I almost forgot a bit, driven by an unknown force to change history for the better. His only guide on this journey is Al, an observer who appears in the form of a hologram that only Sam can see and hear. And so Dr. Beckett finds himself leaping from life to life, striving to put right what once went wrong, and hoping each time that his next leap will be the leap home. Boom! Even 30 years later, I can still remember most of it. I might have got a few words wrong here or there, but I got the gist of it, and there's nothing like that here. They got a little bit at the beginning, and I don't think that'll be on every episode, which is a shame, really, but there we go. So I'm missing that. I'm also missing the theme tune. Really love the Quantum Leap theme tune. And I was hoping for a new arrangement of it, but we just get, as is typical these days, just the title come up and a kind of like music sting quickly. Couple of seconds sting. And that's it. I'm really missing proper title sequences in TV these days. It seems to have gone the way of the dodo, and I'm missing that. So that's something else this series is missing. Maybe they'll bring it in next episode. Maybe it was because it was the first one and they wanted to get straight to the story. I don't know. We'll see. But I would love to see a new arrangement of that theme tune. Sort of modern arrangement of that theme tune. That would be great. So I had a little bit of disappointment. I had a bit of joy and disappointment going straight into it. Disappointment that there was no theme tune and no big long narration. And a bit of joy that it is continuing. It's set in the same continuity as the original series. I always prefer continuations to complete reboots. So kind of mixed start, I guess. But on the whole, I thought this was a very good recreation of the original concept. It felt like a Quantum Leap episode. Now, there was never much sort of ongoing story arcs other than Sam trying to get home in the original series. That's something that's slightly different here, it seems, because they do seem to be setting up a few things. But the bulk of the main story, where he's trying to work out what he needs to do in that time period, the time period, incidentally, is the 13th of July 1985, which is the exact day I was born. He leapt to my birthday. Yes, I was born the same day as Live Aid. So yeah, there you go. That piqued my interest straight away. But yeah, the story itself felt like a pretty solid Quantum Leap story. You know, there was a bit of moral ambiguity in there that he had to work out who to help and debate what the best thing to do to help them was. You know, you had the character who is in over their head doing a slightly bad thing, but for good reasons, with his, you know, trying to get the money for his wife's cancer treatment. Within that, you've got the sort of social commentary, a little bit about the American healthcare system. They didn't really focus on it, but it's there. I like that. That was always, you know, social commentary was always a part of Quantum Leap, and it appears to be there now. So I like all of the stuff about the main plot. And then you've got these more ongoing elements, which you had less of in the original series, which I like as well. I like a bit of through lines. I don't want something that's heavily serialized for this, but I do want those things they're trying to unravel. There's some mystery with, like, potentially at the end we reveal that he was potentially working with Al's daughter. Al, having in the universe, died the previous year. So what's going to happen there? That's going to be a thread that's going to be going through as we discover more stuff. They seem to be spending more time in the sort of present day, the 2022 time period. And I think that's good. I always liked the episodes of the original series where we got to see a bit of 2022. And so it's interesting. We haven't seen the outside of their building they're in, because in the original it was this like weird kind of like almost a Fortress of Solitude ice sculpture type palace thing. Which was very strange. I don't know what the building they're in looks like now, if it's the same building. But they do still have Ziggy, the supercomputer. That's the sort of one main carryover from the original, and obviously Al's daughter is going to be in it as well. But the rest of the characters are brand new, and I did enjoy them. They were good. I don't think we've got, in terms of their Scott Bakula and Dean Stockwell had a sort of instant chemistry to each other and an instant sort of charisma that maybe is a little bit lacking here, but not so much so that it makes it bad. I mean, I think they haven't got that instant kind of, oh, these are I'm really engaged in them as people. But I do like the main character. I think he I'm already forgetting character names, but the main character, the guy that's leaping, I think he's in, like, he seems watchable, and I like what they've set up with the dynamic with who's the hologram in this, because it's his fiance in this. And as of yet, he's got the memory loss. He doesn't know who she is, and so far she hasn't told him. So there's an ongoing sort of extra emotional element to getting home that Sam didn't have. He obviously wanted to return home, but there wasn't a tie back to a person that he was trying to get back for. This is another element which I think could work quite well in terms of bringing out the sort of character of the person and just generally like adding a bit more interest to it and seeing how the dynamic is. We'll see how it goes. I'm not like, my general thoughts are that I'm not bowled over by it, but I am happy with it. I think it's a good start, solid start. It's a solid, Quantum Leap type story, and it's got some interesting story arc elements that they're seeding in there, which will hopefully come out throughout the season. And yeah, I mean, we got a little image of Sam as well, came up in a hologram form, just like on the handheld computer thing. They brought up his image, which is nice little reference back. Like I say, it's referencing the previous series in many ways, referencing Sam, referencing Al and his daughter, who's presumably going to be in it. So I like those links to the past series, and I hope they continue those up. Now, Scott Bakula has said that he is not in this series, and I can't remember the exact words of the interview, but it kind of felt like he had declined rather than them not wanting him. And if that's the case, I really hope he changes his mind. Or if it is the other way around, and so far they haven't asked him, I really hope the producers change their mind, because I would really like to see at some point them cross paths and to have Sam Beckett in it again as a character, just for like a special one-off episode. He doesn't need to be a recurring character. And I think it's right not to have him in the pilot episode. I think what they need to do is establish this as a show, and then maybe that's the season 1 finale. Maybe they have got him in it, and he's just doing a really good job of keeping the secret in these interviews. And they have got him, and maybe he's in the series 1 finale. I would love it if that's the case. Or maybe they will wait to see if the show's successful, see if it gets picked up for a second season, and maybe it will happen in season 2 or season 3. Who knows? Maybe it'll be the cliffhanger to season 1. If so, I really hope it doesn't get cancelled after 1 season. I hope this does well, because I want to see where this goes, and I want to see where it goes beyond just 1 season of mostly standalone stories with a bit of story arc threaded in. I want to get to the point where it makes sense to encounter Sam. 2 Leapers encountering each other along the way, and him getting to talk about them, getting to swap stories and talk about it. I want to see that. Well, that's my thoughts on it. What are yours? Did you like it? What do you think of it? Were you a fan of the original? Let me know all of that in the comments below. I won't be doing weekly reviews of these. I'm kind of taking a long-term break from weekly reviews as I kind of review what I'm doing on my channel a little bit. But I did want to get this out because I've literally just watched it and I had thoughts that I wanted to get out. So I have done that now. Thanks for watching. Do tune in for the Doctor Who, the MCU, and the Star Trek videos and all that stuff. Thank you very much. I will see you soon. Goodbye.